नमस्ते गुरुजी। जय गुरुजी महाराज। जय गुरुजी साथ संगत जी। मल्टीलिंगुअल ग्लोबल सेवादार टीम की तरफ से आप सबका हार्दिक स्वागत है। संगत जी, हम सब बहुत भाग्यशाली हैं। गुरुजी महाराज ने हमें इस जन्म में कनेक्ट किया। इसके अलावा हम सब भाग्यशाली इसलिए भी हैं कि गुरुजी महाराज की ब्लेस संगत छबिलेंद्र राहुल जी की डिवाइन पुस्तक गुरुजी लाइफ एंड स्पिरिचुअलिज्म, जिसको मैं शुरू से ही कहता आया हूं कि ये एक ग्रंथ है। ये किताब सिर्फ किताब मात्र ही नहीं है। इस ग्रंथ का कोई सानी नहीं है। आज के सेशन में हम सब इसी ग्रंथ से एक अध्याय सुनेंगे। मैं सेशन को आगे बढ़ाने के लिए अनीशा जी से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, अपने आप को अनम्यूट करें। ओवर टू यू अनीशा जी। जय गुरु जी।
थैंक यू अंकल। जय गुरु जी महाराज। जय गुरु जी संगत जी। मल्टीलिंगुअल ग्लोबल सेवादार टीम की तरफ से आप सबका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। संगत जी, we have gathered today for the 30th session of book reading of Guruji, Life and Spiritualism by Roul Uncle. Today we are going to continue with chapter 13, Maladies of Interpretation, page number 296 to 306. We have today Bamby Singh Auntie, who has joined us as reader cum analyst. We welcome you, Auntie. And as interventionist, we have Amarjit Kaur Auntie and of course Roul Uncle. We welcome you both, Auntie. Sangat ji, we will just quickly give you a brief introduction of our guest today. Bamby Singh Auntie, who is a fashion designer and a mother of three, considers herself deeply fortunate to have lived in the time of Guruji Maharaj and to have been blessed by his presence. With Guruji's blessings, Bamby Singh Auntie has authored a divine book, Guruji, My Father, which has been read by Sangat globally. As per Bamby Auntie, His Grace has shaped her inner journey, teaching her that the true spirituality is lived quietly through awareness, love, and surrender. A very warm welcome to you, Bamby Auntie. Coming to Amarjit Kaur Auntie. Amarjit Kaur Ahuja Auntie, who came to Guruji for the first time in 1997, when Guruji used to have Sangat in Empire Estate. She is a retired civil servant. She says a friend of her had often mentioned to her about Guruji, prompting her to come with her. Finally, she went there with her out of curiosity. And since then, she has been an ardent devotee. We welcome you, Auntie. And now about the author. Uncle has been, in previous sessions, the author has been duly introduced. Nevertheless, for the Sangat who have joined for the first time and the future Sangat and non-Sangat, we may give a brief introduction of the author. Dr. Roul, called Rahul by Guruji, author of the book Guruji, Life and Spiritualism, came to Guruji's fold during his Jalandhar days. Dr. Roul has served both with the state government of Punjab and the central government. He has written 3 books and published several articles in reputed journals. We welcome you, Uncle. Now, Sangaji, without taking much of your time, I would request Bamby Auntie to please commence the session. Thank you. Jai Guruji.
I am really honored to be reading this book. I'm sorry, I'm going through a cough and cold, so I might be coughing a bit. I feel that every book comes with its own timing and space and understanding. And that when Sahib Ji thinks that his Sangat requires certain information, a certain book will come and get its presence felt and make space for itself. Chapter 13, Maladies of Interpretation.
Yeah.
Okay. Guruji was the epitome of universal love. And as we all know that Guruji did not like preaching. And Guruji would give subtle hints and small sentences that spoke of profound things and had some information for certain Sangat in certain ways. He perfectly fits into the image of the great sage described by Swami Vivekananda in his discourse in California. And this is beautiful. It describes Guruji so well. There is a sage in India, a great yogi, one of the most wonderful men I have ever seen in my life. And please imagine Guruji in your head and hearts. He is a peculiar man, which Guruji was. He will not teach anyone. If you ask him a question, he will not answer. That was so true so often. It is too much for him to take up the position of a teacher. He will not do it. If you ask a question and wait for some days, in the course of the conversation, he will bring up that subject and wonderful light will be thrown on it. And that is so profound because that is exactly how Guruji is. You have questions in your mind and suddenly you feel you're getting answered just out of nowhere through any medium in the world. Guruji is a true master and always said, I am a practical guru. He did not believe in the rigidity of organized religion and always emphasized on positivity of self. He always said, that is the Lord within you. Look for the light within you. However, the narrator, the author, says there are 5 narratives about Guruji which are gaining traction among his followers. Unless these narratives are put in proper perspective and some misconceptions are dispelled, the spiritual essence of Guruji will remain highly distorted. Now I'm going to just name 5 of them and then talk of one which is close to my heart. The first narrative relates to saying of Guruji that one should read the Shipuran. The second, the so-called telepathy of Guruji. The third narrative relates to the Mahavakya or great sayings of Guruji, where he was in physical form. Fourth, the narrative relates to the ununited or unintended adaptation of rigid ritualistic practices wrongly described as being prescribed by Guruji. And fifth narrative relates again, intended or unintended, relegating of Guruji to a narrow confine of family, village, community, thereby completely distorting the universalism of Guruji and his principle. Now, the second one of so-called telepathy is something that the Sangat is actually abusing at this moment. They talk of dreams and tell others, gives others guidances, and how they're using it to abuse, in a way, their position of power because they are the people who get these messages, is actually misleading a lot of Sangat. And it is sad that somebody, if you have the ability to get telepathy from Sahib, that means you are very high up in the spiritual levels. You cannot abuse or use it so wrongly. What is aphorism? Page 299. Now, the meaning of aphorism is basically what Guruji used to say, few words and sentences which were full of very witty and had deeper meanings and would get your mind wondering as to what Guruji was really saying at that time. Aphorisms are the forte of spiritually evolved sages or gurus, leading to the commonly expressed statement that they are mystics. Now, the author says there are three different types of individuals that furnish the meanings of what is said by a master. A master can say one line, but it does not seep as deeply into each individual because all of us are on a different wavelength of understanding with our Sahib. The first group is of the ordinary householder who has not immersed into too much of spirituality and for who the aphorism provides literal meaning to guide better actions. Means he takes the sentence as it is and says, okay, Guruji said left jao to left jana hai, right jao to right jana hai. It is exactly that. The next group is for a true spiritual seeker who are hungry seekers of God. Here, the same saying takes the individual from a mundane level to a higher level in terms of implications. The third kind of meaning is intended for the individual or the soul who has attained or nearly ready to attain enlightenment. For such an individual, the aphorism leads to the correct and crystal clear meaning. Now, everybody in the world also understands this very differently. And that is how Guruji also used to say that the Sangat that comes to me are of different. Some come there to sleep, some come there to eat, some come there to relax, and some very few really come for Guruji. So every sentence that Guruji said also affected a person according to his requirement of that time. It is said that every Vedic mantra has meanings at three levels. Adhibhautika refers to the meaning derived from the physical plane, world level, loosely for our objective understanding. Adhidhokvika refers to the subjective understanding in relation to invoking the celestial forces. And Adhyatmika, the interpretation. Here, the true meaning of the aphorism is revealed to the true spiritually enlightened individual. Adhyatmika is the true and deepest meaning of the mantra at the spiritual state or level for contemplation and meditation. Here, the author gives an example. He has pulled out an example from Patanjali Yoga Sutra, which states, Pratibhat Vaha Sarvam. Pratibhat literally means by Pratibhat. Vaha, knowledge, Sarvam, all. So the literal meaning of it is by the power of Pratibha, all knowledge. Now, what will you get out of this? It falls differently for different people. The literal translation will not lead us to any meaningful understanding. These sutras can be read in context of one's own meditation experience because the very context which it tries to elucidate lies outside of the individual intellect and conceptual reality. Further on, the ultimate goal of anybody in life is to go into meditation, to go into samadhi, and to achieve Kaivalya Samadhi. When you achieve Kaivalya Samadhi, there's a lot of gifts and supernatural powers that come with it. And these are gifts and supernatural powers that stay with you not only in this lifetime, but for every lifetime. This is when a man has risen to a high state of pratibha. At this stage, he has the great light. All things are apparent to him. And he carries this statement to the next birth. In this case, they are born as enlightened beings for the betterment of mankind. In other words, the shortest sutra of Patanjali Yoga Sutra has been spiritual meaning and connotations. Similarly, the aphorism uttered by Guruji have deeper connotations than their literal meaning. As Kabirji said, एक शब्द गुरुदेव का, the one word Satguru gives, taka anant vichar, limitless meanings, take muni jan pandita, and pandits become exhausted trying to find its meaning. Ved na pave par, Ved thus cannot fathom its depth. The Mahavakya of Guruji. Now we all know that Guruji used to hide his powers, used to hide his spiritual journey, and not all know about how Guruji left his house with 3 people, how Guruji got into spiritualism, where Guruji went. I mean, Guruji used to never really share all these knowledges with everybody. And he was not fond of preaching. So Guruji used to say, जो प्रविचार करता है बोलते ने वो असल नहीं, असल गुरु हमेशा अपने आप ਨੂੰ ਲੁਕਾਉਂਦਾ ਹੈ. That a true guru is not going to sit and preach, but actually he hides himself. He hides his supernatural, his amazing powers. I mean, Guruji used to say, my actual light is so strong that I have to dim it so that you all can see me. Otherwise, your eyes, you would turn blind if you actually saw my real light. ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਿਲੇਗਾ ਕਿਧਰੇ? मैं तो प्रवचन नहीं करता, प्रैक्टिकल करवा वेखता हाँ. And this is also true. Guruji always said, I am a practical guru. And one really needs to go into the depth of every little thing Guruji did, because when Guruji says, I am a practical guru, it means every aspect of him needs to be looked into. The experimental approach to spiritualism is the hallmark of Indian. Philosophical approach is in contrast to the Western spiritual traditions. In the West, they will use the intellect to figure out spiritualism, whereas unlike the West philosophers, we Indians are not speculating, analyzing with the help of reason what reality might be. They know what it is because they have experienced it. These are things that have already been experienced with spiritual experiments by sages. So we are basically following what already has been a path which already has been treaded on. We are not sitting and analyzing something new and trying to find a result of it. We know where we are going. The best times with Guru Sahib Ji was when the Sangat would go away and a few of us would sit down and Guruji would be in one of his, I don't know if I should use the word naughty, but naughty or witty or loving moods, and Guruji would come up with these one-liners or aphorisms or even those abbreviations like husband, horse under severe burden, or Gata Kailash, Greater Kailash. I mean, Guruji would joke around. But these were beautiful times that Guruji used to be so witty, and one really remembers them very fondly. Now the author says, these aphorisms have deeper meanings, but many a times the devotee interprets them literally, which has resulted in creating a narrow spiritual space of enlightenment. Means that sometimes when Guruji would say something, one would put a literal line, and which is true with all of us, because through experience, we would then realize that the literal line was not that. There was a lot of depth in that. And so the author says that there is a need to find a context, spiritual and otherwise, of these aphorisms to infer about spiritual and social philosophy of Guruji. Literal and contextual meanings. Now, in this passage, the author states that Guruji's aphorism cannot be understood by literal translation alone, and while academic translation might be accurate on the surface level, the deeper meaning may be missed. In this context, the analysis of Shashi Kapoor is quite apt. And this is a beautiful analysis. And it is the second half of the analysis which I found very interesting, which I'm going to read to you. A religious text is a breach in the fog of ignorance that enshrouds the human mind. That's, suppose you get one sentence from Guruji, and it's like a fog. You really don't know how to go and breach the fog. Allows its insights, the magic of its words, the music of its mantra, to penetrate through the fog, and a transformation might follow. The transformation does not merely understand the words of the text, but it helps you to understand your true self. If it opens your minds and eyes to the ultimate truth of creation and helps merge your soul into the cosmos, it will have served its purpose. This is so beautifully put. And I remember once Guruji used to say to me, Mere andar ja, mere andar ja. And I, for the life of me, I mean, I would matha teko and Guruji would do this and say, Mere andar ja. And I could never understand. So this is like, you know, it's a religious text for me. It's a fog and I don't know how to cross it. And for months, I used to pray. I said, Guruji, I cannot understand this statement. Help me, help me, help me. Till the day Guruji just told me, go inside my ear. And that opened up my world into a different space, a world that was inside him, where I floated like a feather, another form of meditation. So this is, as Shashi Tharoor is, complicated words, but it is actually very well said to the experience that we all go through with Guru Sahib. So when we say that we have heard the words of Guruji and we interpret the literal word literally through the method, which is world knowledge, is understood, we may miss the real essence of those words. Now, various methods are used in ancient and modern times to interpret Vedic texts and Puranic literature. The Nirkuta school refers to etymological method. Now, what is etymological method? It basically says you go into the roots, the origins over time, and then and that is the method of interpretation of words and phrases occurring in the Vedas. The Mimamsa school believes that the Vedas should be treated as a harmonious whole. The Parivarjak school is of the view that the Vedas convey a spiritual idea and that the hymns should be explained in a spiritual way. So basically, the author is saying that Guruji should not be understood on a standalone basis or through a literal translation by analyzing its etymology. These need to be interpreted in a holistic manner in a context of Guruji's spiritual essence. So I asked the author, okay, give me an example of this. And he truly opened up my eyes to something which even I did not realize. That Guruji, when Guruji used to meditate, Guruji used to say, Menu tusi kide more mukode vangur lagte ho. That when I rise up high, I see you like little ants. Right? So the literal meaning is, of course, when Guruji rises up high, when he is in meditation, we are like little ants. Then another concept of it will be that your purity is akin to ants. And third will be that a spiritual level would be that I'm Shiv and you are the tiniest part of me. I mean, for me, I feel that when I read this book, this actually should be read by Roul uncle and explained why he wrote different things in different places, because I understood the book better once I asked him for explanations for different paragraphs, because maybe my mind is simpler and I need more explanation. मैं महाशिव हूं, Most of the time, Guruji would address himself in the third person. He would say in a casual manner, Tanu ki pata, Mahapurush ki hunda hai. I've heard that so many times. And to some of us, he would say, I am Shiv, I am Mahashiv. Now, in these pages, 305, 306, the author has actually gone through the process of trying to explain to you and tell you that Guruji is Shiv, Guruji is Mahashiv. And let me join him in this process in explaining where he says that even in the Shiv Puran, the verses 1.4, where he talks of Kalpa of a Brahma, and each Kalpa is presided over, for instance, the details of it. In the verse 1.39, the 5 famous forms of Mahesha are thus named Isa, Purusa, Aghora, Vama, Brahma. Then again in chapter 2, the 8 forms of Lord Shiva. These are Sarva, Bhava, Rudra, Ugra, Bhima, Pashupati, Isa, Mahadeva. Chapter 3. Chapter 5 talks about 19 incarnations of Lord Shiv. The Koti Rudra Smriti. The Lord Shiva is known for taking famous and well-known incarnations like Lord Vishnu. There are many Vedic hymns describing the enlightened individual who has attained global God realization and has understanding of being a part of Par Brahma. And so the statement that comes, Brahmasi, Aham Brahmasi, I am Brahma, that everything is Shiv and Shiv is everything and there is no difference. Koti Rudra Samhita states that the realization of the Param Brahma and the non-duality of the individual and that of Param Brahma is the pinnacle of a yogic attainment. It describes, and this is a process that Guruji had also talked about. In the first instance, find a Satguru. Worship him, regard him, and remember him. When you impose your faith in Guru, your body and soul get cleansed up of all toxics. The second part of it, the devotee becomes a jnani, wise man. He becomes egoless. In the state of egoless, the man of pure wisdom realizes Shiv, the Lord. The third stage, he becomes Shivru. Like you see the reflection in the mirror, similarly, such a realized person sees Shiva all around. Fourth, he becomes Jiva Mukta. After leaving the earthly body, the Jiva Mukta Atma merges with the Shiv, the Param Brahman. The yogi, and this merger, Guruji had told me, is of 2 types. When you attain enlightenment, you can choose to either join into the light or remain in the periphery of the light. That is something which will be your choice, because once you join into the light, you join means you are finished. But when you remain in the periphery, means you are around your beloved. So that is a choice that is given to everybody. The yogi, with the attainment of Kaivalya Samadhi, does not distinguish himself between the self and Param Brahma. In this stage, the yogi realizes and utters that he is Brahma himself. At this point, I'd like to stop because it actually talks about the path that Guruji has taken, and it describes the path that Guruji has taken to become what he is today, according to what I understand from this. Now, the Shiv Puran is Now, the Kailashas, since I haven't read these 2 pages, I am just going to read them. Can we interpret the saying of Guruji from this angle? It is left to the individual reader, spiritual seeker. The Shiv Puran is repeated with the concept of the Puran Guru and the equivalency of it with Lord Shiva. The Kailasha Samiti states the preceptor, Guru is the Shiva, and Shiv is the preceptor. The ascetic, after deciding this in the mind, shall express his intention. O sage, the Shruti says, think that everything is Brahma and everything is Rudra. Due to 38 kalas, the concept of duality is ever present, but he who has purified the Atma by the concept, I am Shad Shiva, becomes the preceptor Shiva. Such a disciple becomes the preceptor Shiva himself. He attains the form of yantra, mantra, and cosmic deity. The Guru teaches the disciple that he, the disciple, should be able to realize that he is Shiv. In the initiation of the disciple, the Guru bows to the disciple as he is considered as Shiv. But before imparting or bestowing such spiritual wisdom, the Guru tests the disciple whether he is ready and capable of such an initiation. Which is very true with Guruji. Guruji would test his disciples to such a strong degree that it would break them. In fact, I for a fact know that Guruji would put you through experiences and allow you to burn your hand literally so that an experience could embed itself in your soul so that you could carry it forward in life. Shiva, who is beyond the 3 gunyas, imparts Shiva Tattva to the Shishya. This is the reason Shiva is called the Guru. Worshipping the Guru is worshipping Lord Shiv. We also have the famous Guru Sutra, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Par Brahm Tamsai Sri Guru Deva Namah. Pray to you, O my Guru, who is Brahma, the creator, who is Vishnu, the preserver, who is Maheshwara, the destroyer. Without this knowledge, Guru, you are Par Brahma, supreme God and absolute truth. My salutation and obeisance to you, Sri Guru. Om Namah Shivaya. So in this chapter, in these pages, the author is basically saying that our Guru is a practical Guru and that he is led by example, and so that he was a Guru of few, he is a Guru of few words and did not believe in rigid rituals and preachings, and he would sometimes push a person to great extents to make them realize their godliness within. This passage is very deep and honors Guruji so beautifully, honors the path that he has taken. And the fact that he used to say, I am Shiv, which Guruji made us also understand by saying, once Guruji had said that, Tusi sare meri jyot to ho. Besides saying, I am Shiv, which said, you all are a part of my spirit. And so if we all are a part of Guruji's spirit, we too are Shiv. And for us to realize, it's very important for us to realize that we all are Shiv, because it opens up a very broader mindset that makes us understand a lot of which a lot of things that Guruji did and does. Because otherwise, if we limit ourselves to what we have been taught over the years, we actually are forming constrictions in our own path of spiritual development. Jai Guruji. Raul uncle.
I will request Raul uncle and Amarjit auntie to please unmute themselves. Amarjit auntie, please unmute yourself.
I thought I've done it.
Yes,
am
yes,
I?
auntie. Yes,
Okay.
yes, very much, very much.
So, am I to intervene or Raul, Dr. Raul, you are doing it?
You are audible.
Hello?
Hello.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
I want to understand what is the format now. Are you coming or
No,
am I coming?
ma'am, you will come first.
Okay. जय गुरु जी. मैं गुरु जी को साक्षात सामने मानते हुए नतमस्तक हूँ. और अभी बैम्बी सिंह जी ने बहुत ही अच्छे तरीके से पाठन किया है और हमको बिल्कुल एक ऐसी जगह पहुंचा दिया है कि मुझे अब वर्ड्स नहीं मिल रहे कि मैं शुरू कैसे करूं. लेकिन मैं ये भी मानती हूँ कि ये चैप्टर बहुत ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है और गुरुजी जो पास्ट, प्रेजेंट और फ्यूचर तीनों के दृष्टा थे और हैं, उनके सत वचनों की इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में इस पुस्तक की रचना डॉक्टर राहुल ने की. और पास्ट, प्रेजेंट, फ्यूचर के दृष्टा होने के कारण गुरुजी जानते थे कि इस पुस्तक की या इस प्रकार के ग्रंथ की क्या जरूरत पड़ेगी जब वो स्वयं फिजिकल फॉर्म में हम लोगों के सामने नहीं होंगे. और इसलिए मेरी समझ में आज का जो सेशन है ये इस पुस्तक के वाचन और विश्लेषण की दृष्टि से बहुत ज्यादा महत्वपूर्ण है कि गुरुजी जो है और गुरुजी का जो एसेंस है वो आगे किस तरीके से उनकी लेगेसी जा रही है, ये उसके लिए बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है. आज की तारीख में हम अगर देखें तो कुछ पुराने गुरु महापुरुष ऐसे हुए हैं जिनके बारे में बहुत सही कोई इस प्रकार की पुस्तक हमें नहीं मिलती, तो बहुत किस्म के डिस्टॉर्शंस उनके बारे में लोग समाज में लोगों के दिमाग में पैदा हो जाते हैं और वो चलते हैं. तो मुझे ये अनुभूति होती है, ये ऐसा एहसास होता है कि गुरु जी ने 20 वर्ष पहले जो डॉक्टर राहुल को ये आदेश दिया, मैं इसको आदेश मानती हूँ, गुरु जी की सतवचन मानती हूँ कि वो पुस्तक लिखेंगे. उसका पर्पस यही है कि हम जिनको वो सौभाग्य नहीं मिला कि हम गुरु जी के सामने प्रत्यक्ष देख सकें, उनको सुन सकें, उनको आत्मसात कर सकें, हमको एक ऐसा मौका मिले कि हम उनके सही स्वरूप को पहचाने और जो उनकी लेगेसी थी उसके हिसाब से आगे चले। और इस परिप्रेक्ष्य में ये जो चैप्टर है मेलोडीज ऑफ इंटरप्रिटेशन, ये मेरे हिसाब से बहुत सुसंगत, सटीक और एप्ट है। Let us look at the word melody. What does it mean? The dictionary definition of melody tells us that it points to an unwholesome situation or a distorted condition. It can include infirmities and so many other things. So it's a broad definition. It can apply to societal context. It can apply to individual context when we talk about our physical melodies. So when we are talking of melodies of interpretation in relation to Guruji, then we are traversing into a universe where we want to see Guruji the way Guruji is, the way Guruji presented himself to us, and the way Guruji would like his followers, his Sangat, to be and connect with him. So therefore, the 5 narratives, which Bamby auntie also referred to very lucidly in her reading, these 5 narratives become very important in the context of what we understand of Guruji as he was and is. The book in the earlier 12 chapters has very sort of clearly, बहुत स्पष्ट रूप से उन्होंने गुरु जी का जो स्वरूप है उसको हमारे सामने पेश किया, या संगत को पेश किया, या उन लोगों के सामने पेश किया है जिनको वो सौभाग्य, जैसे मैंने कहा, नहीं मिला कि वो गुरु जी के साक्षात दर्शन कर सके, उनको स्वयं सुन सके। तो उसमें से क्या निकल के आता है पूरी पुस्तक में कि गुरुजी ने कभी कोई रिचुअल, कोई मेथड, ही नेवर इम्पोज्ड इट ऑन एनीबॉडी। उनकी संगत में जितने भी लोग जाते थे, गुरुजी का ये रहता था कनेक्ट, इंडिविजुअली कनेक्ट। उन्होंने कभी कोई प्रिस्क्रिप्शन नहीं दिया कि कई स्टैंडर्डाइज यही प्रैक्टिस करनी है, यही पाथ अपनाना है। उनकी संगत में हर रिलीजन के लोग आते थे, हर पाथ के लोग आते थे, और सभी बिल्कुल ऐसे महसूस करते थे कि गुरु जी से उनका व्यक्तिगत कनेक्शन है, व्यक्तिगत रिश्ता है। किसी को किसी प्रकार का वो एक वो नहीं होता था कि भाई एक ही इसी रास्ते चलना है, नहीं। गुरुजी एनकरेज करते थे कि जैसा बैम्बी सिंह ने भी पढ़ा और ये जो टेक्स्ट से जो आज पढ़ी उसमें सामने आया कि ये जो अहम ब्रह्मास्मि का एक कॉन्सेप्ट है, या शिवो अहम का जो कॉन्सेप्ट है, या रब तुहाडे अंदर है सारे दे, ये जो है हम सबके अंदर जो गॉड स्पिरिट है, जो गॉड की लाइट है, हम उसको अपनी पहचाने। गुरुजी का ये रहता था कि हम उसको पहचान के फिर सत्य का, सही एक्शन का पाथ, जैसा वो मार्गदर्शन देते थे उस हिसाब से चलने। और उनका मार्गदर्शन कभी कोई रिजिड नहीं होता था। उन्होंने हमेशा ये कहा कि फ्रीडम उन्होंने दिलाई कि रिचुअलिस्टिक ट्रेडिशंस की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, कोई फास्ट, कोई इस किस्म के अपने उसमें बांधने की जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि ये प्रकृति या ब्रह्म या परमात्मा जिसको आप मान के चलते हैं, वो ज्योति सबके लिए समान है, ओपन है, अपने आप को रियलाइज करो। तो freedom from ritualistic traditions like fasting, adopting rigid rules or religious practices, freedom of each individual to follow his her own path in the right manner, evoking the inherent goodness of self, जिसको गुरुजी ने हमेशा एनकरेज किया। सो उन्होंने हमेशा वो कहते थे प्रैक्टिकल करो, एक्सपीरियंशियल हो। तो उस सब में जब उन्होंने हमको जिन चीजों से निकाला, रूढ़ियों से, रिजिड प्रैक्टिसेस से, अपने आप को बांध लेने से, और उसमें क्या होता है कि हम अपने को बड़ा समझते हैं, दूसरे को छोटा समझते हैं, या ये गलत है या वो गलत, उस सब से गुरुजी ने जब हमको अपने उसमें निकाला, बिल्कुल विशाल उनका वो रहता था कि जो भी आए वेलकम, हर एक को वो गाइडेंस मिले। तो उस विस्तृत पर्सपेक्टिव में जब ये इस किस्म की चीजें जो नैरेटिव्स ऑथर ने अपने उसमें टेकअप किए हैं, वो एक सच में बहुत ही सीरियस चीजें हैं, और उनको ध्यान देने की आवश्यकता के लिए मेरे हिसाब से गुरु जी के आदेश से इस चैप्टर की रचना हुई है। अब ये पांचों, जैसे बैम्बी सिंह ने पढ़ा कि उसमें एक ये पहला कि सबको शिव पुराण पढ़ना चाहिए। ऑथर ने बहुत क्लियरली अपने इस चैप्टर में ये दिखाया है कि गुरु जी जब संगत के किसी भी डिवोटी को कुछ बताते थे तो 1-to-1 होता था। गुरुजी ने कभी प्रीचिंग नहीं करी। हम वहां बैठते थे, शब्द गुरबाणी चल रही होती थी, गुरुजी जब किसी को बुला के बात करते थे या जो बताते थे या जिसको बताते थे, वो 1-to-1 होता था। ऐसा कभी मैंने तो नहीं देखा कि गुरुजी ने अनाउंस किया हो कि भाई शिव पुराण सबको पढ़ना चाहिए, ऐसा कभी नहीं हुआ। तो अब क्या है कि जब कुछ लोग अपने इसी चीज को विस्तृत करके सबको एक वो नियम जैसे बताना चाहते हैं, वहां पे एक थोड़ी सी जो चलता है या जो बन सकता है, उससे वो फिर एक रिजिडिटी में जाने का एक समा बन जाता है। गुरुजी ने शिव पुराण जिसको पढ़ने को बोला, उसको समझना है, उसकी गहराई को समझना, उसका पाठ जैसे करके केवल उसको एक रिचुअल बना लेना, वो गुरुजी का मकसद कभी नहीं था। और यही ऑथर ने बताया है कि महत्ता है शिव पुराण की, उसको पढ़िए, आपका एलिवेशन होगा। आप समझे तो आप इस सृष्टि के बहुत सारी चीजों को समझ सकते हैं। लेकिन ये मानना कि केवल उसको पढ़ना ही जरूरी है, वो उस किस्म की रिजिडिटी से, उस किस्म की मेलेडी से बाहर निकलने की जरूरत है। अब दूसरा, जैसे सो कॉल्ड टेलीपैथी, इसमें तो बैम्बी सिंह जी ने बहुत, बैम्बी आंटी ने बड़े स्पष्ट शब्दों में इस मेलेडी से जो हो रहा है उसको बताया है कि कैसे इसको इवन अब्यूज किया जा रहा है, कि लोग ड्रीम कह के कुछ भी जस्टिफाई करने की कोशिश करते हैं। ये एक किस्म से मेरे मत में गुरु जी के प्रति बहुत ही गलत काम करने की एक चीज है। और इससे इस मेलेडी को मेरे ख्याल से जितना सबके ध्यान में लाया जाए कि ये ना किया जाए, उतना ही इसकी जरूरत है। अब ऐसे ही उन्होंने जैसे गुरु जी के महावाक्यों के बारे में बताया, या और जैसे आगे लेखक ने अपनी इस चैप्टर में लिखा है कि भाई सत्संग में यही चीजें होनी चाहिए या इसी तरीके से उठना बैठना चाहिए, ये इन चीजों से गुरुजी एकदम बिल्कुल अलग थे। उन्होंने कभी हमको ये बोला ही नहीं कि सिर्फ ऐसे ही करना है, लेकिन जो बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट्स गुरुजी के थे वो इन मेलोडीज ऑफ इंटरप्रिटेशन की वजह से कहीं पीछे छूटने की एक मुझे आशंका लगती है। और जैसे बहुत सारे और रिलीजन्स में या सिस्टम्स में हो गया है, यहाँ भी उस किस्म की वो होने का एक डर बना रहता है। और मुझे इसीलिए लगता है कि ये जो चैप्टर है इस पुस्तक का, ये अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण है और इसको बहुत ही अ, गहराई से इस पे चर्चा की भी जरूरत है। एग्जाम्पल से इसको सबके सामने पेश करने की भी जरूरत है। जैसा कि हम अपने अनुभव सुनाते हैं जब गुरु जी के बारे में बात करते हैं, तो उसी प्रकार से ये जो मेलोडीज ऑफ इंटरप्रिटेशन है, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि पूरी जो इस ग्रंथ की रचना हुई है उसको गुरु जी ने अपनी गाइडेंस में इस मुकाम पर लाया है कि सी दिस इज व्हाट आई एम। ये जो पिछले 12 चैप्टर्स में गुरुजी का एक स्वरूप हमारे सामने उभर के आया कि दिस इज व्हाट आई एम, अंडरस्टैंड मी, एंड देन अंडरस्टैंडिंग मी गो फॉरवर्ड विद realization of your own self in this universe and be connected with me, or I connect with you, I bless you. So मैं इसके उसमें, क्योंकि पहले हम 12 चैप्टर्स में गुरुजी के बारे में बहुत अच्छे से जान चुके कि गुरुजी कितने विशाल पर्सपेक्टिव के थे, कितना ओपन उनका दरबार था, और कैसे वो डिवाइन और टेम्पोरल दोनों लेवल्स के बीच में ट्रैवर्स किया करते थे। कैसे उन्होंने अपनी अपने खुद के उदाहरण से हमको ये दिखाया कि आपकी जो टेम्पोरल ड्यूटीज हैं उनको कैसे निभाना है, और उनको निभाते हुए कैसे आपको अपनी डिवाइन स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड में जाना है, और कैसे उसको इस समाज में अपने आप को आपको अपना जीवन यापन करना है। तो ये पिछले 12 चैप्टर्स में गुरुजी ने अपना वो जो स्वरूप हमारे सामने रखा है, अगर हम उस स्वरूप को सामने रखते हैं या उससे चलते हैं, तो ये इंटरप्रिटेशन की जो मेलोडीज अब आ रही है, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि वो इसी वजह से आ रही है कि ये कुछ लोग या तो वी कैनॉट से कैसे क्यों करते हैं, जो उनके साथ भी रह चुके हैं वो इसको हटाने का प्रयास क्यों नहीं कर रहे हैं, या जो नए आए हैं उनको तो जिस प्रकार से हम पुराने जो लोग गुरु जी के साथ रहे हैं, या जो इस प्रकार की एक पुस्तक गुरु जी ने बनवाई है, जो ग्रंथ बनवाया है, जब तक उनसे उनका सामना नहीं हो या उसको वो न पढ़े न समझे, उनको तो वही सामने दिखेगा जो किसी ने आके कहा कि हाँ जी गुरु जी ऐसे कहा करते, हाँ जी आप इसको ऐसे ही बैठोगे, हाँ जी आपको ये तो करना ही करना है, हाँ जी आप तो यही करोगे। तो फिर उनको तो लगेगा कि जैसे बाकी सब में यहाँ भी है तो ठीक है यही करना है। तो कहने का मतलब ये है कि ये जो गुरु जी ने अपना स्वरूप इस पुस्तक के माध्यम से एक परमानेंट तरीके से सबको दिखाया है, क्योंकि आज हम ओल्ड संगत भी जो गुरु जी के सानिध्य में रही है, कब तक है नोबडी नोज, तो आगे क्या जाएगा? आगे इसी प्रकार से गुरु जी के हुक्म से जो ग्रंथ बना है, जो पुस्तक बनी है, गुरु जी की लेगेसी को यही आगे लेके जाएगी। तो इसलिए मेरी मान्यता ये है कि ये जो 13वां चैप्टर है, जो 12 चैप्टर की एक जो छवि निकलती है, उसके सार को लेके हमको ये बताता है कि दिस इज हाउ आप अपने पथ से भ्रष्ट हो सकते हैं या विचलित हो सकते हैं, उस तरफ आप ना जाएं। गुरु जी एक किस्म से हमें मार्गदर्शन दे रहे हैं कि दिस इज नॉट व्हाट इट इज। ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड, ट्राई टू सी व्हाट द एक्चुअल पिक्चर इज। और कभी कभी गुरु जी कहते थे ना, चलो ना जी, पिक्चर खत्म, पिक्चर अगली होएगी। ये जो गुरु जी की एक पिक्चर है, इस पिक्चर को सही रूप में समझने के लिए मेरे हिसाब से अ, हर फॉलोअर को, या जो भी सामने आ रहा है जो हम जानते हैं, हमारा ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है कि हम सही तस्वीर सामने रखें, और इस प्रकार के जो गलत चीजें आ सकती हैं उनसे लोगों को आगाह करें, उन लोगों को बताएं। और यही मेरी नजर में इस चैप्टर की खास तौर से अहमियत एंड खासियत है। और मेरा तो ये मानना है कि अब क्योंकि पुस्तक की रीडिंग कंप्लीशन पे आने वाली है, उसके बाद इस प्रकार के कुछ जो पुस्तक के अंश हैं और इस प्रकार के आगे बढ़ने के जो हमारे लिए रास्ता है, उस पे विस्तृत कुछ चर्चाएं होनी चाहिए, और उससे आगे बढ़ना चाहिए कि गुरु जी के वास्तविक लेगेसी के हिसाब से हम कैसे अपने को उनके साथ जोड़े और कैसे उस लेगेसी को आगे बढ़ाएं। मैं इसी पे अपने इंटरवेंशन को एंड करना चाहूंगी। और एंड करने से पहले मैं वासन अंकल और इंटरनेशनल टीम को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगी कि इतना अच्छा अवसर उन्होंने प्रदान हम सबको किया है, और इस पुस्तक की ऐसी एनलाइटेंड रीडिंग चलती रही है, बिकॉज जो रीडर्स और इंटरवेंशनिस्ट आए हैं बहुत एनलाइटेंड रहे हैं। हम सबका इससे बहुत, हमको फिर से एक किस्म से गुरु जी से साक्षात्कार करने का मौका मिला है। तो इसलिए उन सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। सारी संगत को मेरा धन्यवाद। एंड ओवर टू यू राहुल, डॉक्टर राहुल।
थैंक यू आंटी, थैंक यू सो मच। बहुत ही सुंदर तरीके से आपने समझाया। आई वुड नाउ रिक्वेस्ट रॉल अंकल टू प्लीज अनम्यूट योरसेल्फ।
जय गुरु जी। गुरु जी को कोटि कोटि प्रणाम। जुड़े हुए हैं सारे संगत, उनको तहे दिल से नमस्कार। आज ये जो 13th चैप्टर है उसका पहला सेशन चल रहा है। बाम्बी आंटी और अमरजीत कौर आंटी बोथ इस असाइन जो पेजेस था 296 से 306 बड़े अच्छे तरीके से एनालिसिस किए। I feel I'm sort of words to express myself the way both of them they have analyzed this chapter. The intention, the analysis, and their examples all are superb. Each chapter definitely already इसके बारे में बताया गया कि what is the intention or maqsad of writing this chapter, and I need not spell out anything more in it in this regard. कभी कभी
हम सत्संग सुनते हैं या सत्संग में जाते हैं तो थोड़ा बहुत तो उससे हम प्रभावित होते हैं, both in, you can say, positive way, and sometimes we feel little distressed. Why? Because sometimes there are certain ways things are projected, which we feel that it is distorting the essence of the spiritual essence of Guruji. Yes, entire thread of this book is that Guruji was having a one-to-one connection with each individual who was coming to his शरण, और उनके वर्ल्डली अफेयर्स लेके स्पिरिचुअल अटेनमेंट तक, स्पिरिचुअल पाथ में फॉलो करने के लिए he was giving them individualized or customized solutions. वो चीज को some people they want to try to make it generalized or standardized, that there is a rigid system of for each solution or each kind of interpretation. That is the main problem. That is the reason in this chapter we have talked about the example we have given, particularly the Sutra 34 of the Vibhuti-Pad in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. There are 3 words, Sanskrit words in that sutra. That's why we call aphorism. What is the aphorism? It's a very terse and simple words. It's not a full explanatory kind of essay or explanation. That's why aphorisms are aphorisms. And Guruji's many sayings, they fall into that category. But unfortunately, people, they try to interpret it in a very literal manner. Taking that again, Sutra 34 of Vibhuti-Pad, Pratibhad Sarvam, that already Bamby Aunty has detailed the explanation, reading of the book, and told. This is a very 3 words in Sanskrit, but it has so much of a deep knowledge. Unless you put the context to this, in which context it has been said, and what is the deeper spiritual meaning of these 3 words. So sometimes people, some Sangha, I will say that it is not intentional, it's unintentional. Sometimes they interpret things in such manner which takes away the true essence of the sayings of Guruji. For example, I heard some satsanga and watched that video. A team of Guruji's followers, they are going to some place, I don't know whether it is a Bade Mandir or Dugri Mandir or any other else which they think appropriate, because the destination is not known. In that bus, there are a group of followers, or you can Sangha. One lady who is standing in the bus and giving a bit of a sermon. She was saying, आप गुरुजी को सरेंडर करो, बाकी सारे चीज छोड़ो. Very beautiful said. But subsequently, she substantiated or explained what she was saying. She said, you leave it to everything, Guruji. Guruji will take care of your all world problems, your everything. Don't bother about it. And you did not do anything. Did Guruji say so? Did Guruji say so? In your life, you don't do any effort. Don't do any your niyat karma, assigned duties. You leave everything to Guruji, and everything will be Guruji will take care of yours. That is the problem. सरेंडर को इतना आसान से, इतना सिंपल टर्म में बता दिया गया You leave everything to Guruji, and Guruji will take care of all your affairs. That is not true meaning of surrender. In this book, elsewhere, we have described surrender and Shraddha. Kya cheez hota hai? I did not elaborate on that. And everybody has their own understanding. But it has a deeper meaning. Connection with Guruji in each stage, each time, everywhere, and also performing your duty, karma yoga, having perfect understanding of the Supreme Lord, Jnana Yoga, and connecting with the Guruji all the time, everywhere, every moment, that is Bhakti Yoga. Unless there is an integrated way of leading life, you are not surrendering to Guruji. Just stating that we surrender to Guruji and we leave everything to Guruji, Guruji will take care of us, is not exactly surrender. It is not according to my understanding. People are the Sangat may differ on it. So, giving that example shows that when Guruji has said something, if you just take its literal meaning, things will get little bit distorted. You may not have that intention of distorting what Guruji has said, but ultimately it will go in that direction. Now comes to the rigidities. As I have said in the beginning, and AMARJIT KAUR and also emphasized that Guruji gave a customized solution, even spiritual pathways for each individual, depending upon his spiritual attainment and inclinations. So, can we make a rigid system, follow this in Guruji's system? That does not imply it is free for all or everything should go haywire. But largely, that kind of rigidity will bring a cultism. The intention of this chapter and this book is don't make Guruji as a cult figure. You know what is a cultism? Rigid systems, disciplines, this way, that way, you follow, then you reach there. And Guruji has exclusively said so that's why you should do it. That kind of cultism should be prevented. When Guruji has emphasized the potential of each individual and to realize the God within himself, then this kind of rigidity or cultism is not desirable. That's why when you interpret the Guruji saying, and that is the context we say that the second narrative of telepathy. Yes, people do dream. They do dream. They dream does contain the scenario that you have experienced with the Guruji, or you some kind of experience or some kind of scene having Guruji in the scene, but that does not imply. Guruji has given you a mandate. Go to the world and tell that this is Guruji's commandments. Do this way. That means, yes, it is one-to-one. Yes, it might have been some message given to you. That is, you keep it to yourself. And you can, if you think it is appropriate, you do it accordingly. But don't go on telling the rest of the world, ये गुरुजी के हुक्म है. गुरुजी ने ये बोले करने के लिए for the Sangat or everybody. That is the problem with telepathies. But in most of the satsangs these days, a lot of people, they talk about their telepathies, and telepathies become satsang. That is the problem. I find there is the problem. Yes, you can have your telepathy. You perform according to the telepathy. You follow that, whatever instructions you have got through a message from Guruji. But keep it to yourself. That is the way I look at it. So the simpler ones, when I said there are three kind of meanings can be attached to any saying, giving the example of the Vedic mantras, Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik, and Adhyatmic. There are different ways of understanding things. It's a beautiful system in our ancient tradition that how to understand this world, how to understand spiritualism, and how to understand even any event or any matter. There are 2-3 ways of looking at it. That's what has been explained. So which meaning you will take it? Because you are adopting a spiritual path, then you should go to the highest one, which has a spiritual connotation, rather than any literal connotation, or like the other one, you leave everything to Guruji. Guruji will take care of you, of your worldly affairs. So this is the way I have in this chapter certain examples have been given, and the literal and contextual and spiritual meanings has to be seen of each saying, each event connected with Guruji. That is the intention. So in the coming days, we'll take it forward, and the two sessions will be there for this chapter. And I hope the specific examples will be analyzed in the subsequent sessions, and more clarification light will be thrown regarding the context of this chapter and why we are talking about that the 5 narratives will distort the spiritual essence of Guruji, what Guruji stood for, or what Guruji stands for. So with this, I take leave. I thank you profusely, Suresh Vasan uncle, the global Sevadar team, Bamby auntie, and AMARJIT KAUR auntie. Jai.
जय गुरुजी महाराज, शुक्राना गुरुजी महाराज। मैं बॉम्बे सिंह जी से और अमरजीत जी से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, मेरे को संगतों के मैसेज आ रहे हैं कि प्लीज आप दोनों को बोलिएगा एक बार वीडियो ओपन कर दें। देर वो भाव से आप दोनों को देखना चाहते हैं। प्लीज बॉम्बे आंटी, इफ यू आर एबल टू हियर मी। I think yes, now we all can see all of you with Guruji's grace. गुरु महाराज की असीम कृपा है। आज अब सबके भाव हम सब ने सुने। हम सब उन भावों को किसी भी दृष्टिकोण से देखें, अपने आप में हमको झांकना होगा कि हमें गुरुजी महाराज उस भाव को किस रूप में लेके जाते हैं। थैंक्स ए लॉट एवरीवन। मल्टीलिंगुअल ग्लोबल टीम की तरफ से आप सबको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। अब हम सब, जैसे कि राहुल अंकल ने बताया कि अभी आने वाले 2 सेशंस में सेम चैप्टर के सब्सिक्वेंट जो रिमेनिंग पार्ट्स हैं, सेकंड लास्ट एंड लास्ट पार्ट, वो हम लोग 24 तक सुनेंगे। उसमें नेक्स्ट सेशन में अमरजीत कौर जी is the reader, and in the last session will be led by Usha Bhasin जी। और नेक्स्ट अमरजीत कौर जी और आशा मेहरा जी हैं, और लास्ट सेशन में उषा बसीन जी और गोपाल सेठी अंकल हैं। तो इस सब के साथ सर, आर यू
Uncle ji, there may be some change.
नो वरीज, जैसा महाराज की आज्ञा होगी।
हाँ, इसमें मेरे ख्याल है जो मेरे से जो डिटेल्स दिया गया है, उसमें रीडर है गोपाल सेठी अंकल, और इंटरवेंशनिस्ट है जनरल मल्होत्रा।
ओके, ऑल आर वेलकम। हम सब गुरुजी महाराज की संगत हैं।
उषा सिंह आंटी है, लास्ट में है, दैट इज ऑन 24 जनवरी।
योर मैसेज इज वेरी मच क्लियर सर।
हाँ,
जय गुरुजी।
जय गुरुजी।
अब हम सब गुरु महाराज जी से आज्ञा लेंगे।
जय
जय गुरुजी।
जय गुरुजी।
जय गुरुजी। शुक्राना गुरुजी। आज्ञा महाराज।